literally was with no preface, no context, was just like, hey man, I'm trying to do a reading of my porn that I wrote.
How you been, man? It's been a little while
Chilling.
since we talked. I think the world was still a good place when we last talked, and now it's not.
Well, it sucked. Now it sucks for real.
Yeah, that's true. It was always a bad place. Now
It was always terrible.
Yeah.
Happy post Super Bowl.
I was gonna say, yeah. So you're an East Coast guy, right? Jersey?
Yeah. I'm in the city, but yeah, I'm from Jersey.
Are you a Jets or Giants fan?
Giants.
So you probably don't have much hate for Brady and the Patriots and now the Bucs because you got yours, right?
We got ours.
Yeah.
We got ours twice. So it's a little like, yeah, I'm impressed, man. It's come on. You can hate on him all you want.
No, you can't.
No, you can't.
Not anymore.
You can't.
You shouldn't. I mean, it's if you and I'm a Jets fan, so I hated him more than anything. And there was a time where I could make many years ago, there was some arguments and some critiques to be had. And then it reached a point where you just can't. And then it reached a point where you absolutely cannot. And then there's another point, and we are now at the point, I think, if you try to discredit anything he does, you are a dumb motherfucker. You are a stupid and ignorant person.
I mean, he has more Super Bowls than any other franchise. He's the winningest franchise in NFL history. He's won
crazy.
7.
It's appalling.
The Pats and Steelers have 6, and then the.
But God, I mean, I feel like if to be a Giants fan is such a fun spot to be, where it's like,
we will always be able to say, no matter he can win 10 more of these things, but we'll always be able to say, we got 2 on you, bro.
And because the weirdest thing is, the first one obviously was when he had the greatest team of all time and somehow couldn't get it done, and that stings for Brady. And then
he was 16-0, right?
Right. I mean, and then the second one was supposed to be like redemption for him, and he couldn't get it. So it's not like Tom Brady loses sleep at night. But if you ask him, if there's one little thing you could change to make it like truly perfect, what would it be? I'm sure it's those Super Bowls.
I guess probably
right?
yes.
I mean,
as a
nothing
fan,
else wrong in his life.
It's like I would want to win those. I think Eli Manning actually had an interview recently where he's talking.
You probably want a hotter wife too. If you could do it all over again, if you could really do it all over again.
I feel like Giselle is probably like. I bet you Giselle deep down hates that he keeps winning Super Bowls. Like, fuck, he's never gonna stop. He's never gonna retire, right? Like, she's probably like, I just need him to go like 7-9 one year, and then he'll maybe call it quits.
She's gonna start poisoning him with like tomatoes in his food. Like, his body won't be able to handle this at all. He hasn't had one of these in 7 years.
That's amazing. About the haters, it's funny. I feel like when the Deflategate happened, it gave the haters something tangible for a minute, like something that they were like, see? You see what I'm talking about? This guy, crock of shit. And then he took, that seems like a century ago, first of all. He was like, oh, I'll see your Deflategate and I'll raise you 4 more.
4 more! 4! I mean, 4. How many guys have 4?
He has
Montana?
more Super Bowl MVPs than anyone has Super Bowls.
Wow.
Any quarterback has Super Bowls. There might be someone
it is astounding.
Maybe an offensive lineman who popped around. I forget. But last night though was a perfect thing on social media. So like sports arguing has gotten so out of hand where it's just like, and I admit I'm a part of the problem. I will just say whatever makes my argument look better. Of
course.
But like last night I was like, he's the greatest
brother.
of all time. And people were like, well, like I don't know, like his defense really won this one, which I don't agree with. But then I had like arguing with Giants fans because they're like Brady, because some people are like Brady didn't beat Mahomes, the Bucs D beat Mahomes, and they're like, and Brady also couldn't beat Manning. And I'm like, well, Brady got beat by the Giants D if we want to go by that argument.
Yeah.
And everyone just screams at each other until we all piss our pants and fall asleep.
Yeah.
And that's
incidentally the last one, JPP on the last Giants team that beat him, and now. He had a great game last night for the Bucs, I thought.
It's crazy that JPP is out there just, running around with a club hand and still like an effective, good player again. It's nuts.
He was at the height of his shit, right? And then I read about that and I was like, oh, that's it. I mean, that's it. You're done.
And that thing, he had it like it was bad.
Yeah.
Is there anything more like symbolic of football than the fact that it's like if you need any more proof positive that these guys are just like true gladiator animals thrown in the ring. It's like, well, I don't have a hand anymore, but fuck it, I can still play this game.
Dude, I think of it with I think it's one of the Chiefs D linemen in the AFC Championship had his cast on, and he just had a huge club. They turned it into basically a mace attached to your hand.
Weapon.
Yeah.
And I remember back in the day, there was a Patriots lineman and there were I had tons of linemen who have done this, who broke their hand, and then were like, no, just leave that on for the rest of the year. So I could I'll be inconvenienced except for 2 hours on Sundays
where I have
because this is that
hand.
valuable of a weapon to use.
Yep.
Animals. Did you grow up playing sports?
Yeah, a little bit. I grew up. I played in Jersey. I played football and I wrestled for until, which is a great sport.
What until what age?
Until 8th grade, and then. So I was also a kid actor, so it was just weird.
Yeah, that's a very I would not have guessed.
I'd miss football practice to go on a Cheerios audition. I mean, it was very.
I can see. I feel like it would be more if you're a child actor, you also maybe play tennis or something like that.
Yeah,
not
totally.
Wrestling and football though. That's
it's funny you say that, Kevin, because then when I got to high school and I realized that I couldn't really hang in a football locker room after I had just done a random voiceover commercial for Fisher Price, that I actually started playing tennis.
There you go. That's it. Go work on your backhand.
Ended up becoming, by the way, my favorite sport to play and watch now. I'm sort of obsessed with tennis. Yeah, the Australians started last night. I was trying to go to bed and then I ended up being up watching that. I just love it, man. But yeah, I tried and I was also puny too. So I wasn't. I mean, I was how they do for the kids grades for younger junior football, they do two grades at a time. So when I was when I was in 3rd grade playing on the 3rd and 4th grade team, I didn't do shit. And then when I was in 4th grade, I finally got to do something. And then I'd go to the next team and 5th grade would suck. But then 6th grade, they'd put me in for a little bit. Yeah.
Right,
I was a better wrestler, I think, than I was a football player.
You got out before you got the weird ears. How long does it take to get the ears? Is that a lifetime of getting, battered
so.
Or are there high school?
I never saw even the kids in high school that wrestled for real. I don't remember seeing the cauliflower ear, but
it's a weird. I mean, that is
so weird.
It's a lifestyle more than it is a sport. When you're talking about cutting weight and the cauliflower ears and the fucking weird skin diseases you all get, and
oh my god,
wrestlers
I remember kids spitting in bottles in the back during class. Yeah. Because that would
to get your water weight out or some shit.
Oh my god! Don't you just regenerate spit as soon as you spit it out? I don't. Isn't that something that doesn't really?
Well, I also could. It's one thing when you are, a UFC fighter or an Olympic wrestler or something. And you got money and your profession on the line, and these guys probably put themselves through hell for that one time they hop on the scale. It's a different thing when you are a 16-year-old sophomore in the back of chemistry class, being "Sorry, teach, I gotta make weight here." It's okay, relax.
wearing a hefty bag underneath your sweatshirt, trying to sweat. Right. It's crazy.
I think I would leave a room if a high school wrestler came in faster than I'd leave a room if an armed gunman came in.
I want no part of that.
If someone just came in, it's I was into wrestling in high school. I gotta get. There's no way. No. This is gonna get ugly in here. He's gonna choke someone out because they're gonna question his masculinity, and he's gonna be like, "Bitch, I used to drop 10 pounds on a Tuesday."
It's one that I feel you also. What can you really do? Let's say you're great at it. I guess maybe the Olympics is in your future. I guess nowadays you could pursue perhaps some UFC type shit, but otherwise,
now it makes more sense than ever because of UFC. Back in the day when you were wrestling in the 80s, you're okay, scholarship to Penn State, awesome, and then what? Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what the end game is there, except you got fucked up ears and you're you're manorexic for the rest of your life.
Yep.
Yeah, but you got to kiss a few guys though.
That's true. Yeah. You're right. You got to cup a number of sets of balls. You had balls in your face for a large portion of your adolescence, which is illegal in most states, but
speaking of, you were involved. I guess not speaking of that directly.
Speaking of balls in your face, Jason, read a story, Jason, that you liked.
But you were involved in the Two Bears, One Cave porn table read, if you will. What exactly was that? I know I was listening to Tom and Bert set the scene when they first were talking about it. Those guys, I mean, that's a great idea, and they were so excited about it. Like, ooh, let's direct each other's porns. Ooh, let's do it. And then how do you come to be involved in that? You lucky son of a bitch.
I tell you what, I mean, it was super, obviously it's random, but I don't really know Tom. I know Bert, done his podcast in the past. Actually, we have like a family connection to his sister. Anyway, I've talked to him, known him for a while. Obviously hilarious, great dude. And I don't even think he had my number. And then he reached out on Instagram, like before the holidays, I think. And it literally was with no preface, no context, was just like, hey man, I'm trying to do a reading of my porn that I wrote. Would you be down to do the actually at the time it was the stage directions. And I was like, I wrote like the
blocking and shit.
Yeah, like reading like, and then she puts her, she puts her boobs over his face and and then cut to, he's naked. So I was gonna read that shit, and I just literally wrote back. I was like, this is maybe the best Instagram direct message I've gotten. I have no fucking clue what it means, but I'm in. Yeah, sure, I'm in. And so he set a date, and it was, Zoom, of course. And then when I got there, he's like, Biggs, listen, so little change of plans. Can you play? I want you to play Bert, me. Can you play Bert instead of the stage directions? And I laughed. I was like, that's very funny. Okay, cool. Totally. I just thought he was fucking around. And because other people laughed too. So I was like, oh, okay. Anyway, so about this, I had a question. I was like, so about this one stage direction, should I say this or as well? And he's like, no. Can you, I don't want you to do, can you do, I'll do that. Can you do Bert? Can you play me? I was like, yeah, of course, if you're serious. And of course, there was like, I don't know if you guys saw it, but there was a big orgasm in the end. And look, if anyone can do a cinematic orgasm for comedy,
that's your boy.
There he is. Come on, I'm your boy. So Bert's no dummy. But yeah, I hadn't even, did I read it before? No, I did. I've read it. He sent it to me. I read it beforehand. I was like, this is insane and hilarious. And I'm in. I didn't know that Nikki was going to do it. Nikki Glazer hopped on. I mean, it was rad. Yeah. And his wife, it was great.
I mean, when Leanne gets involved, do you think that you've had the most famous the most famous on-screen? I guess it would be who was it? Meg Ryan and
Meg Ryan. Yeah.
I feel like that probably takes the cake. But outside of porn, do you think you had where do you think you rank on best, most memorable orgasm in film history?
I feel like there's been a Thrillist list of that. No,
I'm sure BuzzFeed.
I'm sure there is already, right?
37 times your favorite actors were coming on screen.
Tell us what you had for breakfast, and we'll tell you what orgasm you actually are.
Yeah, you're a Pisces. You come like Jason Biggs.
Yeah. No, I mean, we could actually look that up. I mean, look, it's got to be up there, right?
I would say, just off the top of my head, the three that popped to mind was When Harry Met Sally.
Yeah.
Ben Stiller with the hair.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, for sure.
Something About Mary.
For sure. Something About Mary. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then my double my double
you got two in there, yeah.
Yeah, I got two just for shits and giggles, Why not?
That actually, I kind of remember. I think you showed me the light on that one, Jason. I don't think I knew it was possible to fire off another one at that point.
Really?
I mean, I was pretty young.
I definitely didn't know.
Yeah.
By the way, still don't know. I just thought that was totally. I thought that was completely. There's no way. I've never been able to do that. I don't know about you guys.
You know what it is? Is you gotta get through the 20 seconds after.
Yeah,
because that's when you get the the whole meme when you nut and she keeps sucking. That 20 seconds is tough and it's uncomfortable. But if you can get past that, then it's just you're fucking again. Give it a try, Jason. It's
I will. Does it have to be with my wife or
no? It could be with anybody.
Could be with Bert. Whatever you want. Yeah. I would imagine. I would imagine coming twice when you've. coming to your wife. That's pretty lame. That's tough.
Who does that? I mean, some guys do. Not me.
Couldn't be me, man.
I respect my wife too much. Have you talked? Do you stay in touch with Eugene Levy? Like, he's obviously just gone off the fucking rails now.
Off the rails. Yeah, I do. He's the best. I mean, you can imagine he is what you'd think. Have you had him on? Have you talked to him?
We were supposed to have Dan on like 3 years ago.
I think
it fell through.
I think sometimes the Barstool rep, I think sometimes gets in the way, and I'm like,
maybe we'll come on to. We could do it together maybe one day. Maybe I could talk him into doing it.
Forever indebted if you could make that happen. We're huge fans.
He's ledge. But he's literally like he's like a second dad. I mean, I adore that man. He's taught me a ton. I keep in touch. He came when he's in the city. He'll come by. He lives out in LA. And Dan, Dan was in high school when we did American Pie. I mean, I've known him since. I mean, I wasn't much older, but still, I've known him forever. That whole family, the best, Sarah and the mom. That just, I honestly, I could not be happier for them. It's just the nicest family and so talented. And to see Eugene, getting nominated for Golden Globes and winning Emmys.
It feels like he not only, I mean, Schitt's Creek deserves it all like standalone, but it almost feels like a lifetime achievement award or like a makeup call from the past or whatever, where it's like, oh yeah, this guy is a fucking legend who has done it all and deserves a lot more respect than he's finally getting. I love it.
I would have given him awards for Armed and Dangerous for wearing those assless chaps, to be perfectly honest. But honestly, the guy's the best. And Dan too. I mean, so I joke that I'm a little jealous to like see him doing all this stuff now with his real son. I'm like,
what about me?
Yeah. What about me? I mean, I know we have like a huge franchise together, so I don't want to sound ungrateful, but it is weird to see like my dad up there now doing this other show with his real son.
Right.
And getting all these accolades, but every single one of them are deserved, and it's just the best.
I'm just telling you right now, Jason, I'm thinking of the clickbait when we put this clip out. It's going to be like Jason Biggs has daddy issues with Eugene Levy. Write that down, Nick. That's what we're doing.
I think of all the nice things you can say about them, I stayed up to watch. Not stayed up, but I like made it a point to watch the SNL this week, just because I knew Dan was hosting. I had a feeling Eugene would probably pop on, which he did.
I knew you. Yeah, I admission I have it DVR'd. I have to watch it, but he was brilliant, right?
He's great. Yeah, I mean, they're great. I don't know if there's ever been a more immediately beloved, like universally loved actor than Dan. Like once you started watching Schitt's Creek, and it took a few episodes, which you can say about any fucking show, because you need to get invested in characters. That's how it works. You like now everyone will watch for 20 minutes and be like, I don't know, it didn't grab me. Like, because you don't care about the characters yet. Just watch for at least like 6 episodes and you'll love it. But as soon as people started watching that, they're like, oh, Dan's the best.
Yep. And by the way, Eugene, already the most likable face in film and TV. You can't.
But now he's hot too, which isn't fair.
I know, dude. I want to age like him. He's got like cool glasses and the whole thing. I know, it's incredible.
You know how
fucking daddy now. He's not your father. He's your daddy.
He's daddy.
He's so daddy. Fucking funny, accomplished, slick, and like debonair that his goddamn gigantic eyebrows even become hot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he made big fat eyebrows fucking cool.
He's like on best dressed lists and shit. I mean, Dan obviously has become a fashion icon, but even Eugene is just like, debonair. Like you said, he's just like the
Rico
coolest.
Suave over here.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. But I just love them. I'm stoked for them.
And so now you got Cherries Wild is the new gig where
it's not Schitt's Creek, is it? But
nothing is though, brother.
Like, damn it, Schitt's Creek. I got Cherries Wild, which is a game show. It's I gotta tell you, I'm super into the new. I feel like we're in a golden age of game shows.
Agreed.
I grew up. I feel like it was another kind of, we're about the same age, right? I think maybe you're a little younger, but I remember as a kid, like staying home sick, quote unquote sick, and watching Price is Right, Let's Make a Deal, all the daytime game shows. And then there were some dope ones at night too. But all of a sudden, these last few years, it's crushing. And so you've got the revivals or the remakes of the shows, the famous shows, the match games and stuff. But then you've got some original ideas that are coming on that are so cool. And when I was told about this, Cherries Wild, I was like, oh, we haven't seen that on television, have we? No, we haven't. And it's just super fun and easy. It's 2 rounds of pop culture trivia. A team of 2 comes on. 2 contestants. We play pop culture trivia, and they get a shot to win spins on this giant slot machine. And if they get 5 cherries, they can win $250,000.
Up 250 in one ep.
Up to 250 and up. Yeah, I mean, you could walk away with 100, 150. I mean, we gave away real money, and it was super cool. I mean, it's from Pepsi and Fox. It's like a collaboration. Their Pepsi Wild Cherry brand, integration is the name of the game now. Yep. But it made it super. It's like visually just wild and fun. And there's like this Pepsi app, the Wild Cherry app that you can download, so you can play the game at home. And if you're matching the slots to the slots on the show, you can win like the same prizes. It's pretty fun. So I don't know. It's just different than the other ones. And for me to host, it was something I've kind of always wanted to do. So Dude. Fox.
Let me tell you, so we did this past week, we did our own little game show here at Barstool. We called it Surviving Barstool, where we perhaps took the framework of a other show where you have to survive. And I got to do the hosting.
I know what you're talking about, Big Brother. Big Brother. I got it. I'm picking up what you're throwing down.
But it started out as, just like we're sponsored by this vodka company in New Amsterdam. And I just thought it was going to be like, we got to do a video for work. And all of a sudden it became like a real game show. And the people here were taking it seriously, $10,000 on the line, backstabbing and all this shit. And hosting it, I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like even getting a fuck 1/1,000,000th of hosting like a real show on Fox like yourself. I was like, oh, if I could do this for the rest of my life, I would drop everything else to just be able to host these kind of things. It's because I think it's like you said, you grow up on it, on whatever shows, and then to maybe like eventually get the chance to be in one is like a dream come true.
Well, and you also realize that it actually, when you're in the flow and you're actually, if you're able to do it, it is its own kind of special skill set, I guess, right?
It's not easy,
it's definitely not acting, but then there's components of like improvisation with the contestants and stuff. But you also have to. It's like you're kind of a conductor. You've got to choreograph the gameplay, and you got to tell the audience at home, and you've got to throw the commercial naturally, and you've got to deal with the contestants, and you got to make jokes, but make them look likable, and don't be an ass. And it's just like it's really a lot of stuff happening. For sure. And when you're kind of in that zone, it's super, super fun. And people, obviously you hear like hosts say like, this is the greatest gig ever. I mean, if you think about these guys that have been doing it forever and they do, 17 episodes in one day and they have, 11 and a half months off and they make, 40 million a year. It's like, oh, okay. Got it. Sounds like a good gig, but is it fun? And it's like, oh yeah, no, it's fun.
It's amazing.
I'd have a hard time doing like the 14 episodes in a day, like a Steve Harvey, like I got to meet the fucking Whitfields now and pretend I give a shit about this stupid family. Like you goddamn right.
Says,
Oh, they're gonna say penis because I asked a question that makes them say penis. And I'm gonna pretend to have a heart attack about it. Like it'd be like 40 million a year to do this for sure. 100%.
I mean, yeah, totally. But there is a high you get out of it, right, Kevin? I mean, you definitely like when you're laying the groundwork and you're dealing with all the different elements. It's it's super fun. I kind of always knew that I would like it. I've always harbored the desire and a little bit of a dream to host, but who knows? I mean, who knows?
Last week was like the most invigorated I've seen Kevin.
Yeah,
and I don't like using that word with him.
It was so new. Yeah,
Kevin was having like a blast. He was having a very, very fun time.
Because I do think there is an element of like childhood. Like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm on the other side of it. It also feels a little bit like a stand-up comedian doing like crowd work, because it's like you're not doing like jokes, but you're, like you said, a little bit of improv. And did you what's your like style, if you will? Because when I was doing it, I was like, I'm not naturally the guy who's going to be like, welcome back, it's another episode, like, yeah, get excited. but you do kind of need to bring like the energy. So I was like, sometimes like I got a couple criticisms of people being like, oh, you didn't have enough energy, but I was like, well, that's just me being normal. So I don't know. It's a fine line. Did you like think about that, or did you just be yourself and you just let it rip?
I constantly thought about that. Yeah. It's such a good question. I was constantly thinking about that because I'd be like, I knew there was like there's a cadence, right?
Yeah. Yes.
There's a rhythm and obviously an energy. I mean, this is a big show. It's not like, it's not like, I don't know. That's
like an internet company who stole a show and did it for a week.
Well, I don't want to compare. I'm not comparing. I'm just thinking even other shows on TV that are a little bit more intimate, like a Match Game where Alec is going and talking right up in their face and you're kind of like, and you can kind of take your time. This is a half-hour show that flies. It's like, this slot machine is 30 feet tall. There's crazy bells and whistles and lighting and audience, and it's dope. It's super fun. So I'm thinking I have naturally just the energy because you're around all this stuff, and I'm doing it. And then they'd be like, Jason, that was great. I love it all. They'd be in my ear. They're like, we just do one more, little bit more energy. And I'm like, more. Okay, yeah, I'm happy to, but don't I sound kind of like ridiculous, or is it okay? And but as I kept going, I think then when I got home, and I'm like in my house, my wife's like, "Why are you talking so weird? Why are you like? Why is everything like an introduction?
What's for dinner, honey?
What's for dinner? Oh, over in this pot, we've got pasta."
At one point,
changing my kid's diaper, I'm like, "Oh, it's a shit. Here we go."
What's gonna be behind these Huggies today? At one point, somebody, because I was just kind of being like my dry, like asshole self, and somebody was like, it's a mix almost between like Jeff Probst on Survivor and that girl from The Weakest Link, and I was like, yeah, let's go with that. Yeah. It was me just being like an asshole, but
it's me being tired at 7 p.m.
Right, we'll go with that.
But you can't help it. We've watched these shows our whole life. There's like a thing. They make them that way, and they want, and it works for whatever reason. That's how, audiences get into it. And it was cool, man. I'm just psyched that Fox gave me a shot. It literally, like, I told them I was doing this sitcom when I saw you guys last year. I was doing this sitcom for them, and I told them, I was like, I know you guys are getting kind of big into the game show world right now. You've got a lot of stuff in development. Think about me. I mean, it'd be nice. And they came through, which is very un-Hollywood.
Yeah, really. That's like not usually how the story goes, but I'm happy to hear that. If you had gun to your head, your life's on the line, and you have to win a game show to save your life, what game show would you pick? Or what like activity, if you want to even get more, more specific.
Yeah, definitly not activity. I ain't winning Wipeout. I'll tell you that. I'm no Ninja Warrior. But, oh man, I feel like Millionaire.
Yeah, you think?
I feel like
get that million, man.
I feel like I could get kind of far on Millionaire, but I don't know. I mean. They still have the like lifeline and all that, right?
Yep,
yeah,
for sure.
I feel like I can get deep. I feel like I can get deep on Millionaire.
Have you played along and ever gotten, the answer on like the 250, 500, $1 million questions?
I don't think I've ever gotten the 1 million, but I've gotten the like one right before.
That's pretty impressive because that's usually hard as shit.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, maybe I could do this. But I say that now. Easy for me to say right here on a Zoom, like I could win Millionaire. Obviously, I'll never forget. I told a buddy of mine was dating Karina Smirnoff years ago from Dancing with the Stars. Okay. She was one of the dancers, and we were hanging out, and I literally was like, oh, I could win that show.
Dancing with the Stars?
I was like, I'd win Dancing with the Stars. I'd win that.
That actually doesn't sound too crazy. For some reason, I was more like surprised to hear you say Millionaire than I am to hear you say that. I could see you wiggling them hips.
Well, and look, so anyway, long story short, next thing you know, ABC's calling and they're like, hey, heard you might want to be on Dancing with the Stars. And as soon as like it became a reality, I was like, oh, no way. No. Fuck that.
I'm not hard.
Dude, first of all, I'll dislocate every bone in my body in the first episode. I'm a disaster. I'm an old man. I can dance like with my kids when we do a dance party or, like.
Yeah, you saying
funny
that
by the way,
is
funny
insane.
that I used that reference. The other reference that was in my head was dance like with a girl at a club. And instead I went with dance with my kids at like a dance party in my living room. What is happening?
That's more reasonable, though. If you were like, I can dance with these bitches in the club. All right, I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at it here. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It looks like around 10 people ever have won the million on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
It's not a lot.
And one of them was a plant.
That first guy was totally
the first guy who used the call.
But here's the thing with Millionaire, though, you can also tap out, can't you? Can't you?
Yes.
So that's why I feel like if gun to head and I needed the dough and I had to play a game show to get some fast cash, I feel like I can get enough real money. I don't think I can get to the million. But
in general, would you be the type? I mean, you're probably pretty comfortable now, probably still cashing American Pie checks. But if let's say you got to the 250, and it's like you gotta walk away or roll the dice, or what type of guy are you? You're more like the risk, let it fly, or just take that cash?
Depends on how easy the 250 was. If the 250 was like, that's easy, boom, and I got it, I'd probably be cocky enough to go on. But if it was like, oh man, holy shit, I can't believe I got that right, 250, I'd be Splitsville. I'd be like later, that's real. That's real dough, man.
Yeah, that's some life-changing shit.
Yeah, listen, I am rich as fuck, but that is still some real money that I would happily take. I'm being siphoned of all my cash, obviously, every single day with 2 kids and my wife.
No, it's absolutely impossible to have money. It's like you have to make, especially, man, like living in New York is bananas, where it's like, what neighborhood are you in, roughly? Obviously, don't give any addresses.
Downtown.
Yeah, I mean, it's
downtown.
Like, it's like I guess right now, what do you think? Are you one of these like New York's dead, sucks, or are you riding it out here?
Riding it out. Yeah. I mean, we've been able to get out a little bit, but yeah. I mean,
you never had the itch to live in LA, to like relocate.
I did live in LA.
Well, but
long. That was the problem. No, I lived there. I did it, and I loved it for a while. I loved it when I first moved out. I was 19. Went from my parents' house to my own apartment on a TV show in LA. So LA for me was awesome. That, I was I hit American Pie hit a year after moving there. Like,
that's what's crazy. You never really did the like grind it out. Like you were
I didn't, not in LA. Right. And so for me, LA was
for that.
I'm sure
this fucking kid, he comes and he fucks a pie and now he's rich. Fuck.
You want to know what's the craziest thing to like kind of partly bookend this? Brady was winning Super Bowls then. Yeah. Like Brady was dating Tara Reid.
Yes. Shit.
Yes. According to my Wikipedia page, I dated Tara Reid and Tom Brady.
Man, that is so. You go out to LA right away. So I go out to LA. You get American Pie.
Yeah, and life was good, man. Of course. I mean,
is that one of those situations where did you make a lot of money off that, or was it like you kind of get exploited? Yeah, but then 2 and 3.
I mean, the first one. There's SAG minimums and stuff. I made enough money. If I was waiting tables at the time, it would have been like, oh, okay, I can chill on that for a minute and kind of see what happens. I went out to LA with a little dough just from being a kid actor. So I had like a little safety net that I didn't have to do the grind, like a lot of other people. So I could wait it out a little. And then in that time I got American Pie. So yeah, of course people hate me, but the real money came after that, when the movie came out, and then
that's gotta be big bucks. You get paid, you got a shit ton, didn't you? You got a shit ton.
What's weird? I'll be honest.
What's your salary? How much did you get paid for American Pie 2? That's gotta be 15
I'll tell you what I make. I can break it down to what I get paid per minute. And what I just got paid on this podcast, you will blow your mind. No. The truth is, dude, yes. Am I comfortable? Am I, do I have things and do I feel safe, secure? Yes, but I don't know you live in New York, dude, and you get skewed as to like what is a lot. I'm like, oh yeah, no, I need all the money I have. I'm like, we live in New York. My kid goes to a private school.
School, man.
It costs money, man.
The school
shit costs money.
The school hit me like a fucking Mack truck when I was like, wait a minute, I have to pay tuition already.
Yeah.
And my kids were 3 and 2, and I'm paying like 20 grand for them to go to fucking to get glorified babysitting. What the fuck?
to play with blocks. They're gold blocks, obviously, but solid gold.
Yeah,
I mean,
if they
right,
came home with a golden block, then maybe it would be worth it. Maybe you cover the cost.
It's so true, man. And look, I'm a public school kid from Jersey, and even the idea of what we're doing is like kind of wild to me. But at the same time, it's like, why does a dog lick his balls, right? Like, hey, if I can do it, it's my kids.
It's the same reason I lick my balls, man.
Yeah, they taste good because they fucking taste good. That's why.
I love that we were talking about your kids. And talking about licking balls, man. I love it, dude. All right, man. Taking up enough of your time, so thank you. Cherries Wild is the new show on Fox, and you're right, we are kind of in this game show golden age revival, if you will. So, I mean, I can't get enough of any of them, so I'll be there watching, and I hope everyone else is too.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate that. It's an awesome show. I think you guys will like it. And by the way, big fans. And Kev, I love your 1 minute man, dude.
Thank you, bro.
I am obsessed. In fact, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
I know you want to let me go.
No, we can go forever. Let's go.
So when you're riffing, man, is that how many takes do you do multiple takes? Do you kind of jump?
Yeah.
Fuck up your words?
Yeah, it depends on the topic. Like so right now, right before this, I did one on Britney Spears because I am a big Free Britney guy. And I just watched the new doc. That one, I ripped for like 4 or 5 minutes straight, like probably basically one take. But there's others where I'm like, fuck it up and I redo it. In the beginning, I do them in the studio now, but in the beginning, it was just on my phone. And so when I'm doing it alone, I'll always redo it. I got to get it perfect. I fuck that word up. But all in all, sometimes it'll take.
Are you writing it down? Are you writing anything down ahead of time? You're just doing it.
That's all off the top. But I've been blogging. These are basically just like blogs spoken. You know what I mean? So, and I did that. I wrote tens of thousands of blogs over the years. So it is kind of one of those like 10,000 hours type of things. But it's just all off the top. And, yeah, I mean, it's a funny thing. Yeah, I appreciate that, man.
I love it, man. I love the one you did the other day with the Lil Uzi Vert.
Yeah. Oh, man, the youths were not happy with me on that one for joking that Lil Uzi and Lil Yachty were the same guy. People were ready to fucking burn my house down.
Really?
Oh, my God. Rhea, all the young kids here, how dare you say that Lil Uzi and Lil Yachty are the same? I was like, listen, I got news for you. Anyone over 30 agrees with me.
Like,
we don't fucking know.
Lils, there's a couple Lils, but there's...
I think in my house...
I think Wayne was my last Lil.
My house is, I will recognize Lil Wayne, Lil Kim, Lil Dicky I'll throw in there. There was a fourth one, and then Lil Bow Wow. I threw Lil Bow Wow.
Lil John.
Lil John was the other one. Yeah. There's a few
Lil
Lils.
John, of course.
I gotta respect the Lils, but the rest of them kick rocks.
Honestly, man, it's where I get like a chunk of I've learned about the whole thing with it from you.
That's what I try to do is bridge the gap of when you kind of want to know something that
I totally want to know, but I also don't want to get caught reading Us Weekly.
Yeah, that's exactly.
No, 1,000,000%.
Like, I'll be that guy for you.
I love it, dude. You are honestly, man. You fill a place in my life that is so special.
I'm flattered and honored, and thank you for that, man. I really appreciate it.
You got it. You guys are awesome. Thanks for having me.
Later,
Next time, bye. Listen, if you made it this far into the video,
which is far, like no one ever does that on the internet.
Like it's the end. You made it to the end of the video.
Full fucking video.
You watched the whole thing. So if you liked it and you watched the whole thing, why don't you subscribe?
It means you like us.
Click the subscribe button, because if you don't, I'm gonna fucking murder John.
And I'm gonna like it.
Kill him with my bare fucking hands.
Yeah.
And if you weren't sold on this video, there's plenty more. Watch what's next up and then subscribe. But just subscribe so I don't have to fucking kill him.
Well, I don't know. Do what you want, but subscribe. Probably.